Satyavachaya Namo Namaha. Vishnu Bhakti Pradede Satyavachaya Jai Chelsea Maharani. We offer our most respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees and fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion, full of fallen conditioned souls. Vaishnava brings the joy.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Ashtotra Shatashi Srimad Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Ashtotra Shatashi Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, and all glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 76, entitled The Battle Between Shalva and the Vrishnis, and this is text 28. Labdha samjno muhurtena karshnih Sarathim abravit aho asadhu idam suta yad ranan me apasarpanam labdha samyo muhurtena karshni sarathim abravit aho asadvidam suta yadranan me pasarpanam labdha samjno muhurtena karshni sarathim abravit aho asadvidam suta yadranan me pasarpanam labdha samjno muhurtena karshni sarathim abravit aho asadvidam suta yadranan me pasarpanam. Vaishnavis, please. Labdha, attaining. Samjna, consciousness. Muhurtena, in a moment. Karshni, the son of Sri Krishna. Sarathim, to his chariot driver. Abravit, said. Aho, asadhu, improper. Idam, this. Suta, O driver, Yat, which, Ranat, from the battlefield, may, my, Apasarpanam, being taken away. Translation. Quickly regaining consciousness, Lord Krishna's son Pradyumna said to his charioteer, O driver, this is abominable for me to have been removed from the battlefield. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Before I attempt to speak something, I seek the blessings of His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj and all the senior Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis here. By your blessings, prayers and best wishes, may the right words come at the right time, in the right mood of glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, purifying our consciousness and pulling our hearts closer and closer to Shri Shri Radha Golokananda's lotus feet. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. In Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam, this is one of the most recurring themes where a devotee is put through calamity and his response has been noted. Starting with Parikshit Maharaj, who was cursed to die in 7 days. His response to those 7 days, first of all, his response to the curse, and secondly, his response to that 1 week of lifespan that he was granted before death would come to him. This is worth noting. Because it's important to note that whether we are devotees or we are not devotees, calamities will come. Calamities will come all the time, every single day. Whether in the temple or outside the temple, or whether we have a tilak on, we don't have a tilak on, or whether we are initiated, not initiated. Sometimes this is also a rebuttaling question that people outside ask. If you're going to die as I'm going to die, what's the use of being a Hare Krishna? Right? If calamity is going to come to everyone, why should I become a devotee? If you're going to get old and I'm going to get old, and you're going to die and I'm going to die, and if you're suffering and I'm suffering, then I may as well enjoy and suffer in whatever that means in the outside world, than to be a Hare Krishna and then struggle. The answer is very simple. Circumstances will not change, but our perspective towards the circumstances will change. Just like the rain won't stop, no one can control the rain, but we can keep an umbrella in such a way that the rain won't stop, but we won't get wet either. Before we were getting drenched, but now we have a shelter. We have the umbrella. We have something to protect us. We are not here to change circumstances, but we are here to change our consciousness towards those circumstances. Another example that we often give is, if you have a road full of stones, pebbles, sharp grass, they may hurt the feet. And it's impossible to remove all those pebbles and all those rocks while we walk. But the best thing to do is put on shoes. When you put on shoes, the rocks remain, the pebbles remain, the grass remain. It's just that we don't get hurt by it. Simple. So the first example of rain and an umbrella, and the second example of rocks and a shoe. Now the third example. We may travel through different lanes in India, different roads in India, and you may have speed breakers, and you may have potholes, and you may have roads which are not evenly made. And as a result, if you travel by what they call as the auto rickshaw, right? The three-wheeler rickshaw. It's constantly moving. Why? Because the roads are not evenly made, and naturally when there are potholes and when there are speed breakers, you feel a jerk. Now the same thing if you're moving in a Mercedes-Benz, or you're moving in a BMW, the road remains the same, the potholes remain the same, the speed breaker remains the same. It's just that the effect, the impact on the body is less because of the shock absorbing system of the car. So similarly, whether it's rain and umbrella, or whether it's the pebbles and the shoes, or it's the third example of the potholes and having a nice luxury car. Again, the purpose of this discussion is not a sales pitch for everyone to buy a luxury car. But the point is, circumstances around may not change. Whether we are a devotee or we are not a devotee, circumstances will remain the same. What has to come will come. Of course, we do know that Krishna very kindly gives us a pinch, a little token of what we are actually scheduled to get. That's another point to also consider. Well, circumstance may not change in the sense we will get old, we will die, and so on and so forth. But the impact, one, the impact the devotee feels, and second, even the quantity and the quality of what comes to us can be adjusted by Krishna. This is to be noted. Another point that we all can consider is the example that Srila Prabhupada would give. Srila Prabhupada would say that when the mother cat, she holds the rat in the mouth, it's death for the mouse. For the rat, the mouth of the cat is death. That same mouth for a kitten is security, is protection. When the kitten goes astray, the mother cat comes in and picks the kitten with the same mouth that she picks a mouse or a rat. But what is death for the rat is protection, is shelter, is maintenance for the kitten. So the mouth remains the same, but the impact and the experience is totally different. So what do I get by being God conscious? What do I get by going away from my egocentric ideas and being independent in this world? I get shelter, I get protection. My consciousness becomes better, and that problem, which seemed a problem before, doesn't seem a problem anymore. My Guru Maharaj would give this example. He said the first time he got into an airplane in his life, you see, he comes from a very small village in India, from Bihar. So he had never got onto an airplane in his life. So the first time he got onto an airplane, he later recorded his experience, which he shared in a class. He said that the skyscrapers and the buildings which look so tall, they look humongous, they look big. But when you get into an aircraft and you go up thousands and thousands of miles up, those same skyscrapers now look small like matchboxes. It's not that the size of the building changed, it's just that when you raise your height, the perspective of that building or that structure changes. So he said similarly, problems, when we are on ground reality, the problems look sky high. But when we raise our consciousness, those same big problems look very small. Back to Parikshit Maharaj. Who would have been happy being cursed? Being the king of the whole earth at that point, Parikshit Maharaj is in his prime youth. He is the descendant of the Pandavas. He was protected by Krishna in the womb. What a glorious lineage to have. All of us are studying Srimad Bhagavatam so that one day we can have the darshan of Sri Krishna. And here is a personality who had darshan of Krishna, who's studying and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Very great soul. Parikshit Maharaj is a very great soul. And here, being the king, he gets cursed by Shringi, the son of Shamik Rishi, who's described to be a Brahmana who got angry. His father didn't get angry, but the son did. How is this king so proud that he actually insulted my father by wrapping a dead cold snake around my father's neck, touched Ganga water and cursed Parikshit to die in 7 days. Parikshit Maharaj could have very well counter-cursed Shringi. He could have asked him to leave his kingdom, Of course, being a Kshatriya, he would respect a Brahmana, but yet, now this is a life-threatening situation. So he could have asked Shamik Rishi to leave, along with his son Shringi. But how humble and how tolerant is Maharaj Parikshit. At the time of reversal, instead of counter-cursing, instead of getting into revenge and vengeance and agitation and irritation and provocation and restless mind, Parikshit Maharaj took a humble position. He gave up his kingdom, and those 7 days he dedicated on the banks of the Ganga to hear about Krishna from Shukadev Goswami. Now let's put ourselves in that situation. What to speak of being cursed to die? Someone speaks something ill about us, and something that may be true still agitates the consciousness. Think about Shishupal criticizing Krishna, or the washerman criticizing Ramachandra, or Ramachandra Puri and Amoga criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Chandra, Ramachandra, who are spotless, and they are criticized, and they forgive. And here are we in Kali Yuga, in the material world, Kaler Dosha Nidherajan, as an ocean of faults. And if someone, as a well-wisher, points out one of those faults which does exist in our consciousness, we get agitated. This is our situation. And to contrast that, Maharaj Parikshit, he gets cursed to die in 7 days. And how does he respond to that circumstance? Just like a mango does. The mango is full of mango juice. It doesn't showcase and promote and advertise its juice. It's all keeping the juice within. But only when the mango is squeezed does the inner juice come out. When an orange is squeezed, the inner orange juice comes out. Sugarcane, only when it's crushed, the inner sweet juice comes out. Sandalwood, only when it's vigorously rubbed does the inner fragrance come out. Gold, only when it's tossed through fire, that's when it becomes blazing effulgent. All of these natural phenomena teach us that pure devotees, like Parikshit Maharaj, when they're tossed through calamity, that's when they give out their best response. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said we should be like a tree, one aspect of a tree, tolerant like a tree, is also the fact that when we are pelted with stones, when the tree is pelted with stones, it doesn't give those stones back, it drops its best fruit. When Jesus was being crucified, he didn't think of crucifying those who were crucifying him. He didn't think of ignoring them either. He didn't hate them, he didn't ignore them. He prayed to God, God, please forgive them, they know not what they do. This is amazing. Whether it is Parikshit Maharaj, whether it is Lord Jesus Christ, whether it's Haridas Thakur being whipped in 22 marketplaces, who was praying for those who were tormenting him, Jesus praying for those who were tormenting him, Parikshit Maharaj gave the best possible response. Or the tree that we were speaking about. In the village, the villagers are throwing stones to get the fruit out of the tree, and the tree gets hit by the stones and drops its best fruit. This teaches us Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, we could have Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav and all these degrees. Srila Prabhupada, it was his desire that we study. But ultimately, what is the purpose of studying Srimad Bhagavatam? It is not so that we can accumulate millions and millions of shlokas in our head. It's not that we can prepare for brilliantly erudite classes. These are all maybe part and parcel of Srimad Bhagavatam, but the main crux, the backbone of Srimad Bhagavatam is change of character. is change of response. In this context, we find Krishna's son Pradyumna keeping the same theme that we discussed till now alive. Here is Pradyumna who goes unconscious in the middle of a battlefield, in the middle of a battle. And his chariot driver takes him out to the side, out of his duty to protect his master. And what is Pradyumna saying? The first thing that he said as soon as he came to consciousness, he said, "Why am I not on the battlefield? Why did you take me out? Why should I not be doing my duty?" Pradyumna teaches us, when we are in the most precarious, testing, obstacle moment of our life, our situation, our response is not, "Oh God, why am I here?" Our response is, "Now that I'm here, oh Krishna, how can I serve you the best?" Like Maharaj was mentioning the other day during the Sunday feast, I really loved that point where he said, when Prabhupada told us jump, we didn't ask why, we just asked how high. I immediately wrote it down. I was writing different points that I could collect from different disciples of Srila Prabhupada. I loved how Drishta Prabhu was mentioning, we were out on Sankirtan, and for about 3 years, we forgot what it felt to actually sleep in on a proper bed in a proper room and have a bathroom for yourself. I was taking notes of all these points because these are real life, relatable, practical examples of how we can face reversals. And instead of saying, well, I'm in America, I come from a good background, my parents are multi-millionaire, why should I give all of this up and join an Indian Swami and share a bathroom with 30 other brahmacharis and go on traveling Sankirtan, living on a bus and bathing in cold water at 3 o'clock in the morning just behind the bus? Why should I do this? Instead of thinking, why not ask how high? Parikshit Maharaj did not ask why. Pradyumna did not ask why. Haridas Thakur did not ask why. Prahlad Maharaj did not ask why. When Prahlad Maharaj was tossed through fire, when Prahlad Maharaj was thrown from a cliff, when Prahlad Maharaj was administered poison or thrown at a pit of venomous snakes or at a stampede of maddened, intoxicated elephants or attacked with deadly weapons, Prahlad Maharaj did not ask, why me? Oh God, I am chanting your names. Why is this happening to me? Matinna Krishne Paratosvato va Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam. I am the only one chanting in this whole assembly. I am the only one initiated having a guru, Vaishnav guru. I am the only one preaching Krishna consciousness. I am the only one who is youngest in age and most innocent. Why should this happen to me? Which means there is no God. Let me worship Hiranyakashipu. Let me preach the glories of Hiranyakashipu. He didn't think like this. Sri Rupa Goswami Pad says something fabulous in his writings. Sri Rupa Goswami Pad says, problems in life, they are like elephants. They are very strong, they are very mighty, and they seem to be taller than us. But the love in the heart of a devotee is like the roaring lion. Now, compared to the height of a lion, the elephant seems to be quite huge. But it's interesting. The elephant never fears a lion. Never fears the lion. And nor does a lion ever fear an elephant. Because they are mighty in their own streams and in their own departments. But we all know, when they take on each other, it's the lion which eats up the elephant and not the elephant which destroys a lion. The elephant may be strong, the elephant may be tall, the elephant might be mighty, it can uproot even trees, it goes crazy, it can kill people. It may be strong, it may be taller than a lion, but it can't overpower a lion. The lion doesn't fear an elephant. When the elephant comes in, the lion doesn't bow down. The lion eats up the elephant and gets stronger in spirit. So Rupa Goswami Pad says the love of a devotee is like the roaring of a lion. The situation may be mighty like an elephant, but the devotee eats up every possible obstacle on his path, and his love for Krishna only gets stronger. Srila Prabhupada. Why go to Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj and Ambarish Maharaj and Yudhishthir Maharaj and Parikshit Maharaj? They're all wonderful examples, but Srila Prabhupada, most relatable in modern times. What is that obstacle that Srila Prabhupada did not face? Whether it's his business, whether it's his family, whether it's his child, whether it's physical health problems, heart attacks, foreign land, no contacts, no money, different cultural background, coming from Radha Damodar. I loved how Drishta Prabhu in the Sunday feast before that, he mentioned that when people were turning hippies, counterculture, 50 years ago, even their own parents were not able to relate to their children. Even the parents born in American background were not able to relate to the hippie culture of the teenage. What to speak of a sadhu coming from Radha Damodar, who had never come to America ever before. Here are we practicing Krishna consciousness and thinking, okay, I'm getting old, let me have a home in Vrindavan. Let me buy a property now itself next to Radha Damodar because the prices in Vrindavan are rising. I don't know if I'll be able to move, but it's good to have a home. And there is a sadhu who lived there and gave it up to give Radha Damodar to the whole world. Srila Prabhupada gave up that Vrindavan, came to this Vrindavan, then gave up this Vrindavan to give Vrindavan to the whole world, came back to this Vrindavan and left from this Vrindavan to go back to that Vrindavan. His connection with Vrindavan was never lost. When we study Krishna Tava Punya Have Bhai, this beautiful song that Srila Prabhupada wrote, it's an address to Krishna. Although in the general translation, it's translated as Prabhupada is speaking to the jivas in general. But when we scrutinizingly, linguistically analyze that song, the first word that Prabhupada uses is Krishna, which is an address to Krishna. And by saying Tava, it's a direct song speaking to Krishna. Krishna Tava Punya Have Bhai. Oh Krishna, you will do good to yourself if you help me. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada is very dear to Radharani. And we know in the spiritual world, the maidservants of Radharani, they speak to Krishna like this. They say, oh Krishna, your peacock feather will look very beautiful when you place it at my lotus feet. Because I am the one who will let you in the kunj when Radharani is angry at you. Rupa Manjari, Rupa Goswami writes in one song, we are all praying, when will I offer my obeisances to Krishna, right? That's our prayer. We want to offer our obeisances to Krishna. But Rupa Goswami writes in one song, one of his last writings in the Stavamala, he says, when will that day be mine, O Krishna, when you will offer obeisances to me? When you will offer obeisances to me, with tears dripping down your eyes, you will bathe my lotus feet and place your peacock feather at my feet, crying, please let me in, let me meet Srimati Radharani. And then having mercy on you, I will open the door and let you meet Vrishabhanu Nandini. Of course, we can pray like that. But Krishna Tava Punya Have Bhai is that exalted a song, where Srila Prabhupada throughout the song is speaking to Krishna, that, oh Krishna, you will be happy. You will do good to yourself if you cooperate with me, because Radharani Sukhi Hobe. If you help me, Radharani will be pleased. If you help me in spreading the glories of Mahaprabhu, Radharani, then, oh Krishna, Radharani will be pleased. And when she is pleased, you will become happy. So please help me. Srila Prabhupada went through so many obstacles, but he never took no as an answer. Okay, this door closed, let's try another door. My typewriter got stolen, no problem. My manuscript got stolen, no problem. I had reversals, no problem.
Few of my initial disciples turned against me, no problem. I will still find my way. I will write letters to them, beseeching them to come back. Prabhupada never felt, I'm an old man. Look, I have done so much. Why aren't you, all of you, cooperating with me? Look, he never had self-pity. Every picture of Srila Prabhupada, his chin is up there. Regal, royal, not in false ego, but in pride that I am the servant of Krishna. Any obstacle, what can it do to me? The obstacles are thrown by Maya, but I belong to the Lord of Maya. What can the obstacles do to me? This is like the roaring of the lion devouring every possible elephant obstacle. Rupa Goswami Pad gives one more example, that the lamp of love is always brilliantly effulgent, but especially when you take it to a dark room, it shines more brilliantly. Which means the love in the heart of a devotee is always beautiful, in happiness and in distress. But especially in distress, especially when that flame of love is got in a dark room of distress, of hopelessness, that's when the flame is more effulgent than before. We can really see how much love a devotee has for Krishna. Yes, of course, when they're singing and dancing, no problem. But especially when they are going through reversal and not ready to give up. Even on his departure bed, Srila Prabhupada is translating the 13th chapter, giving purport to the 13th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. If that is not love, then what is? Who was Srila Prabhupada dictating Srimad Bhagavatam for? For the pleasure of Krishna and as compassion, for the benefit for all the generations to come. Srila Prabhupada was not dictating that on his departure bed to sell his books and make money. That was not his purpose. He was not pushing book distribution so that he can be known as the most famous New York Times bestseller. That was not his purpose. His purpose was compassion. Dayaya sarva bhuteshu. Karunayaha purana guhyam. Problems? No problem. Bring it on. This is the spirit of pure Vaishnavas. We can see it like this through the prayers of Queen Kunti. And with this I would like to stop for today. Queen Kunti says in her prayers, my dear Lord, may the love that I have for my family, may that all of that love be severed, may that be removed, may that be cut, and may all of that love flow from my heart like the currents of the Ganga towards you, O Krishna, who is the ocean. We can see the Ganga, so many rocks, so many obstacles, but Ganga doesn't become disappointed. Ganga doesn't become a pond. Ganga doesn't become a small lake. Ganga doesn't break into a very small trivulet or a small tributary. Ganga flows with her current. There's a dam, no problem. There's a rock, no problem. We'll find our way. Sometimes the Ganga flows from the right, sometimes from the left, sometimes above the rock. And if there's a dam, no problem. The river is just getting deeper and deeper. And with an obstacle, if you put an obstacle to a river, the river gets deeper and at one point even crosses over the obstacle. This is the love the devotee has in his heart. This is what Pradyumna is teaching us. When he's attacked in the middle of the battle, and even when his armor is broken and he's attacked with a club on his chest, his chariot driver is doing a fantastic job of serving his master, but Pradyumna is teaching. Krishna consciousness is not about, okay, now let me take it easy because I've been hit by a club on my chest. Krishna consciousness is about, okay, you hit me with a club. I'm going to use that club in the service of Krishna. When life throws lemons at us, we make lemonade and offer it to Krishna. This is the spirit of a Vaishnava. Let's contrast this with Arjuna's situation. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, I can't fight. My dear Lord, I can't fight. And the whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken, telling Arjuna, you're not here to do what you want to do. You are here to do what I want you to do. Don't give up the battle. Stay there and fight. Spirituality is not about what I think is most peaceful. If that was the case, Bhagavad Gita would have been spoken in a cave. It would have been spoken in a yoga studio. It would have been spoken in a temple. Bhagavad Gita was spoken on a battlefield. Because the arrows will be shot, the swords will attack, and that's where we Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhya. We remember Krishna and we continue with our duty. Brahmanas said, sannyasis are not supposed to cross the ocean. Sure, I will still cross it for preaching Krishna consciousness. This is the spirit of Srila Prabhupada. We're not chasing peace. We are ready to be broken to pieces. But we will continue to serve Krishna with every possible last piece. And after hearing the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna folded his palms and he said, Karishye vachanam tava. My dear Lord, I am not here to give up the battle. I am here to be obedient to you. As we conclude, we want to remember a quote that every flower in this world follows. And what is that? Blossom where you're planted. Blossom where you're planted. The lotus is not thinking, oh, you planted me in a muddy pool. The rose is not thinking, oh, you planted me in this place. Only if I could change my spot. I wish I was planted there. I would have become a sunflower. I could have become a lotus. The lotus is thinking, I wish I was a jasmine bud. No, nature teaches us. Different flowers, different trees, they're planted differently and they blossom where they are planted. So life will test. Krishna's throwing all these different tests in life. And you can find more than 10 to 15 references in Prabhupada's books, including Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it says Krishna does test his devotee time to time to see how much love the devotee can offer from his heart to Krishna. The word pariksha, parikshe, all of these words have been used in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Parikshan, nirikshan, like this. So as we conclude, Krishna consciousness, we didn't join the Krishna consciousness movement so that we can have peace in our heart. We joined the Krishna consciousness movement not so that we have smile on our face. Of course, that is chant and be happy, yes. But we chant, make Krishna happy, and in Krishna's happiness, we find happiness. We serve Krishna, we bring smile to Krishna's face, and seeing Krishna's smiling face, we learn to smile in life. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. So if there are any questions, yes, Maharaj.
Where can we find translations of Prabhupada's poems?
Most of the times, I recently did one because Mother Champaka, sure, yes, Maharaj, yes, I will say. Sure, Maharaj. Sure, Maharaj. Mother Champaka was doing a dance performance, I think a practice, which she's going to do very soon, I think, for Prabhupada's appearance. So she wanted me to go through the work because there have been parallel translations to Prabhupada's work, and she wanted clarity. So we did go through the song, and I shared a translation. So I'll be very happy to. Yes, sure, Maharaj. Yes. Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
They didn't fight back and say, look. I didn't, he couldn't chastise and kept serving.
Yeah. Which teaches us that we could have difference of opinion between devotees, the way they do it. Because the master thought the servant shouldn't have got him out, but the servant thought, with good intention, that I'm supposed to protect my master. So there could be difference of opinion, and sometimes we could be chastised even for doing something right. And that's fine. We move on because the heart is in the right place and Krishna is the witness. Anything else? Okay. Jai Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Radha Golokananda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutapaya Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Namaniti Namadaya Saraswati Devi Purvani Vacha Negi Nivasesha Shunyavati Masacha Sarge Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gauranga Vrinda Shri Krishna Nanda Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Sivasadi Gauranga Vrinda Shri Krishna Nanda Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Sivasadi Gauranga Vrinda Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Guru Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
For those of you who are here this weekend, and I know it won't be that many, the students are coming back to Chapel Hill, and the first classes are next Monday. So this weekend, lots of parents and kids and lots of folks in Chapel Hill. So from 4 to 6 on Saturday afternoon, we'll be in front of the post office on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill for Harinam Sankirtan. Fall Sankirtan is coming up. It's going to be really good every weekend. So this will be the first one. So 4 to 6 in Chapel Hill. Let's get the holy name out there to as many fallen conditioned souls as possible. Chaitodarpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrikavitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratimanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. Beautiful. Hare Krishna. Kala 800 Tavakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdhaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadaram Najaram Nasundarim Kavitam Vajragadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Ahoitaki Twai Yainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishameva Vambudao Kripaya Davabada Pankaja Stita Duli Sajuchim Vachintaya Nainam Gadashudaraya Varanam Gadgarudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshu Shaitam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyava Padamritam Anastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatulam Patomat Prananatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction. I got it. At large. Because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I've fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to see anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally.
Shikshastika ki jai. And the deities are dressed wonderfully today. Actually, we have a transcendental couple here.
The couple has changed.
Oh, we have two. Oh, two devotees dressed as it. So that's again Radha. Okay, but I'm talking about Swastika and her good husband. Anyway, so, we have a real transcendental couple. We get everybody fired up in class, and they get everybody fired